welcome back. Running cars. See how long this goes. This is the misty morning scenery. So we got a couple of wildfires burning fairly near to us. And the last couple of days have been really smoky. The camera's not really picking it up right now, but it is picking up the mist. And I think if I get over this hill, there'll be more. I'm actually concerning this because we are actually making an emergency kit in our house for evacuation. It seems for the past bunch of years, even before the pandemic, I guess, every summer here in Alberta, has been super smoky, like tons of wildfires. We were getting it on the island as well, but it was brief. You know, there'd be a couple of weeks or a few weeks of smoke. But here in Alberta, my sister has mentioned it more than a few people that I'm around that have been living here. You know, basically everything in summer is canceled for wildfire smoke. Now, I'm getting back to the emergency kit thing. Like, what kind of kit? Do you even bother keeping an emergency kind of kit in your car? Because I consider my car my lifeline. As soon as I leave the house, because I'm a type 1 diabetic and all of that, I've got extra things in my car to, just in case something happens. And I do drive long distances. I do drive a lot. Like on the island, we were always being prepared for an earthquake. So we always had to have an earthquake kit in our car, because if an earthquake ever hit, and on the island, all the roads, all the major routes would be shut down for emergency vehicles only. So you would have to take side roads or, you know, shelter in place. And I'd much rather do that in my car than in a building. But out here, when we made our trip, our big move from Vancouver Island to Alberta, we just missed a wildfire in Jasper that was burning through the Rocky Mountains, we'll say. We were just ahead of it. And the thing was is that we had to go back to Vancouver Island to pick up stuff that we had thrown in a storage unit because we couldn't bring it all. And the time that we were that we had planned to go back and get everything, forest fires were starting to rage. And we kind of held back to see what it would do, and it was a good thing we didn't go, because we would have been stuck on a highway. And that's what happened to a lot of people. Forest fires trapped people on the highway. And this is about the emergency kit. Now, when you're evacuating here, like it's an hour drive pretty much everywhere you go. Minimum half an hour. And there's a lot of room in between to be caught on a highway. So in my car, I keep water, blankets, extra food, flashlights. I got to actually pick up a tarp today. The tarp that I had been keeping, I'm actually using it at home. So, and it's pretty much dead. So I gotta pick up a new tarp because that I talked with my my boss, my supervisor for one of my jobs, and that's what happened to her. She ended up she took her daughters and her daughter's friend. They went camping that year that we came here, and they ended up trapped on the highway. There was nowhere to. She told me that she couldn't find a hotel. Everything was booked. All the campsites were booked. So they ended up having to pull over on a side road and sleep in their cars. And luckily they had camping equipment, like sleeping bags and stuff. They had all gotten comfortable and gotten their jammies and slept in their, went to sleep in their cars, and then the next morning, same thing. Get dressed, get ready to go again, right? But where you are, do you keep an emergency kit in your car? And if you do, what is it? Like on the island, I wasn't set up for forest fires. I was set up to survive in my car for a few days, to make it somewhere. Like if I was trapped at the base, if I was trapped at work and I got in my car, because that's the first thing I would do, is my primary goal is this: I carry with me what I need to get to my car, or if I can't get to my car, to get home. And then I make it to my car, and I'm fine for a while. I won't be able to live for a week in my car, but I would be able to make it somewhere within a few days in my car. And then after that, getting to somewhere more reasonable. Like on the island, it was for earthquakes. And with earthquakes, you shelter in place until you can move around. Where I worked, they were set up for it. But if it was in between, and if an earthquake happened, the big one, so they're all waiting for the big one. The big one happened on my trip from home to work, or work to home. I'd easily be able to make it in my car. And if I couldn't make it in my car, I would be okay for a few days. Now the same thing goes for the forest fires here. I do keep a small emergency kit with band-aids and things. But I do keep like a big blanket. I do keep, like I said, a tarp available. I do keep things to keep the car going, except for fuel and oil, of course. Can't carry that stuff around. I just make sure my tank is always about half full. I'll let it get down to in the summertime, I'll let it get down to a quarter tank. But in the wintertime, no. In the wintertime, minimum half full. Because you can easily run a quarter of a tank keeping yourself warm on the side of a highway overnight in minus 20 or minus 30. Oh, it's a beautiful morning. The sun is orange because of the smoke. It's off to my left here. When I was driving in the city as a young guy, I used to keep baseball bat and a glove and a ball in the back seat. And I was in construction, so I actually kept like a stick, like a piece of doweling as my emergency kit. I mean, I for my Hornet here, I had to go out and buy a spare tire. I've never actually told that story on this channel. We went out and bought a full-size spare because we were taking a trailer. We bought the trailer and we also bought a spare for that one as well. Because waiting for roadside assistance takes hours and hours and hours, where you can just change a tire and be on your way again. I also keep a compressor for air, you know, a little 12-volt plug-in compressor. I keep minimal tools to fix things. A socket set. It was stuff that I got from my BMW to fix everything on my BMW. I just transferred them over. I got a torque wrench. Wheels are aluminium. What else do I got back there? I got a roadside assistance kit, jumper cables, triangle, gloves. Like, my trunk is full. My trunk is full. And this car is a small car. I know they look big, these little SUVs look big and stuff, but there's not a whole lot of room in them. They're basically, I always say they're like Honda Civics that have been jacked up, even all-wheel drive. The interior space is the same. I did this, my daughter had a Golf. The interior space on this Hornet is actually less. It's the same amount of space as my daughter's Golf was, except how the seats and everything fold down. The Golf is far more accessible and usable. I think I'll leave this at 13 minutes. Yeah, if you don't have emergency kit, because that's the thing, when your car breaks down or you break down or the world breaks down around you in some way or fashion, just something happens where you know, do you have a way to last a little while? Or are you going to be, you know, don't care about it and whatever happens, happens? You know, you just walk over to the 7-Eleven, buy some food. I usually just keep emergency kits so that I don't have to stop. I can just continue on until I find somewhere I can stop. All right. Thanks for tuning in. Really appreciate your viewership. And 14 minutes of random scenery.